Warning: the following video has not been approved by the Comic Code Authority and is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The.Comic.Assassin. Today's my birthday, and if you're able to join me, thank you so much. That's the biggest birthday present I could ever have, is to have all of y'all tag along and hear about the comic book news I'm about to drop, whether it be book or movie related, what I picked up last week, and what you should be picking up this upcoming week when you roll into your LCS, or if you don't have an LCS, go ahead and try to buy it online quick. Alright, y'all? But yeah, it's my birthday, another year down. I'm glad to be here with y'all. But I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. And I'm going to start with some movie news. And it's some movie news that I talked about last week with Moon Knight. Now, we can all probably agree that a Moon Knight movie is coming. Alright, it's in the works. And based on a lot of the news that we've heard, which I dropped last week, is that Keanu Reeves was going to be Moon Knight. But there was a news story that just came out that said that maybe the Marvel top pick for Moon Knight is Andrew Garfield. Alright, so I'm better with faces than I am names, but if you don't know Andrew Garfield, he's the one who played the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Great actor. I thought he did a great job with the Amazing Spider-Man. Alright, I thought he was a good actor. He performed in a way that, I was very impressed. But for Moon Knight, I don't know. That's a lot to wrap my head around. It's just a rumor. But, yeah, you let me guys know what you think. Alright, now Keanu Reeves is not my top pick for Moon Knight. But I think, in my mind, he's got a notch above Garfield as far as accurately portraying Moon Knight. So, yeah, that's some weird news, but I have to drop it on y'all, okay? The next thing is the Loki movie. They've kind of dropped some information about what the next Loki movie is going to be about. And basically, it's about the god of mischief going back in time to change things to better his current situation. Come on now, people, come on. So if you go to any comic book news website right now, you're going to see an Avengers Endgame video where either Kevin Feige or the Russo brothers are having to explain themselves about some concept of the film. And a lot of it has to deal with that time travel aspect. Alright? Because time travel in itself is So yeah, to me, with that being said, it's already confusing enough. Plus, the whole thing about time travel going back to change things, it's not an original concept. That makes me very much less excited about this Loki movie. Alright? You let me know what you think. But yeah, that's news that I didn't want to hear. I mean, it could be good. But if that's what's all centered around, is this whole time travel thing, then yeah, you already kind of count me out on the Loki movie. I mean, I'll still watch it once it comes out on DVD, but, I'm not going to go to the theaters to see it if that's the case. But the next movie news, which is kind of exciting, is that the Eternals movie, they have now said that the Deviants are going to be the villains for the Eternals movie. Alright, and so for those who aren't aware of the Deviants, I think they first appear in the Eternals #1, which should have already been a spec book from the get-go. Alright, for this movie. But the Deviants are also the ones who have mutations. They're a certain race of a group of people who have they're either mutated where they're hideous or they have special powers. And actually, the ones that have the more extreme mutations are called mutates. All right. And this, I'm going to give a shout out to Reggie at Reggie Collects, because this is what he thought that the Eternals was doing. And that might be introducing mutants into the MCU, which would bring down the line X-Men and all that. Now, other than Eternals #1, it's really hard to spec on any kind of book because we don't know which deviants they're going to introduce. There's like over 80-something deviants that are in comics. Thanos is a deviant, all right? But that's the one that we probably are more well informed of. But there's a lot, like I said, there's over 80 ones in the comic books that are considered deviants. So, yeah, so with that being said, that's a good plot. I think Reggie nailed it with their possibly introducing mutants into the MCU through this route, which is a smart route. But who knows? As far as the books to go collect, I would still, if you can, go get that Eternals #1. But there's several others that once they drop maybe names of characters, you might be able to go out and get. Okay? So, check that out. Other movie news. Venom. So, Venom, Andy Serkis is now directing Venom, which should be exciting. And apparently Tom Hardy is actually doing some of the writing for the movie. But they're saying that it's going to take it into a completely different direction of character, whatever that means. Yeah, and I like the Venom movie. You know, I went into it knowing that, yeah, they're changing the origin story of the symbiote and Eddie Brock. And I got past that. And I thought they did a very good job with the movie. I thought they did a very good job of portraying Venom. They did a very good job of the symbiote relationship with Eddie Brock. I enjoyed that. But where they take to the next level, we'll have to wait and see. If you're like me, which you may or may not be, I knew that Woody Harrelson was going to be in Venom, viewing the cast list. And after he didn't show up throughout the whole movie and the credits dropped, I was like, no, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. I don't want to do it. But they did it, right? Now, I love me some Woody Harrelson. Like, Natural Born Killers is probably one of my favorite movies ever. But he is not the character that I want to see him playing the character they're going to make him play. If he even does in the sequel or, further on. That's just my personal opinion. Would he rock it? Would he do a good job? Yeah, but he's just not what I portray as that character. So, I'm not trying to spoil much, but, yeah. This is some funny comic book movie news. So, apparently, Gwyneth Paltrow did not know that Nick Fury was Samuel L. Jackson. So apparently they were on the set of Avengers, and she's like, "Oh, what is Samuel L. Jackson doing here?" And the rest of the cast and the crew were like, "What are you talking about? He's Nick Fury. You've been in movies with him." But she was like, "Oh, I had no idea." So I don't know what Gwyneth Paltrow is doing. Like, and apparently this is the only blunder she's had. She's had some other ones where like she's forgotten to meet Stan Lee. That's according to the guy who plays Bucky and the Winter Soldier and all that. He's like, yeah, she's met him several times and she always forgets. Like, I have no idea what's going on with her. But I found that funny that she sees Samuel L. Jackson on the set and she's like, what's he doing here? And they're like, yeah, he was in the last movie you were in. He played Nick Fury, So maybe she doesn't watch her own movies. I don't know. Anyway, let's go on to some TV series. So the Titans season number 2 is about to come out. They have some new characters coming in. They have Aqualad. They have Superboy coming out. Ravager. But the ones I'm most excited about is they have Deathstroke and they have Jericho. Alright, so I'm interested to see how they incorporate Deathstroke and Jericho into the show. Now, I guess the next news is like Watchmen. Watchmen's coming out here soon. It has been confirmed that it is a sequel to The Watchmen, which I still have questions on. But like, I don't know. I'm going to give this show a chance because I really, really love The Watchmen, y'all. I really do. But we know that this show is going to be very racially charged, which to me, I have nothing against. I have nothing against them doing something about something important, right? What I'm worried about is how they're doing the Rorschach character. Alright, so if this is a sequel, Rorschach's gone, right? We know there's no Rorschach, but in that preview that they show a lot of guys throw on Rorschach masks. And I hope to God that they are not going to be portraying Rorschach, who's one of my favorite characters from Watchmen, as a white supremacist. Alright, because like if you read anything about this show, we know there is a strong racial aspect to it. But seeing a whole bunch of guys throwing white stuff on with the Rorschach, yeah, please do not do that. Like, honestly, if that's what happens, I won't watch it. Because I don't want you ruining the personification of one of my favorite Watchmen characters. And that's just how it is. Anyway, let's get on with the comic books. Okay, the comic books, not a lot going on. DC's doing some revamping of their digital stuff because I guess their digital sales aren't as good as they want. They kind of went up, they plateaued, and they're like, we need them more. To me, I don't read digital. A comic books, I want this all day in my life. I want to be actually open something up and read it. Some people, digital makes sense, but so DC's doing some things differently with their digital platform when it comes to their books. But other than that, the big news I think was Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman from the X-Men, his House of X, Power of 10, is being accused of plagiarism. Basically because of the 15 Lives of Henry August. Alright? I have not read that. But apparently he's being accused of some plagiarism. Now, he denies it. He thinks it's more inspiration. The woman, Clara, I forget what her name is, the one who wrote that, she's the one that pointed, or at least brought it up to light to some degree, saying, yeah, this looks kind of like plagiarism. I still respect what you're doing. So she hasn't accused him of plagiarism, but she's like, yeah, this is really close to what I wrote. And so I guess we'll have to wait for the rest of the series to come out to see what's going on. But yeah, a lot of the news is on Jonathan Hickman. And not even that, but I know even Jonathan Hickman has come out. Apparently there's been a lot of errors in these books, whether it be typos, like the last Powers of X. No, the House of X number 2. He did some things with the timeline, which didn't make sense, and he apologized for it. But then again, you're revamping the whole thing, so, scratch the whole past timeline. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Also, I want to give it this before I get into the actual books that I picked up last week and what you should be looking out for. Spider-Man in the life and flesh is making a difference in people's lives. So I heard this story. There's a guy out in Houston, Texas, who's dressing up as Spider-Man, and he's on street corners holding up signs of positivity. Maybe like, be strong, or like, if I was driving down the street and I saw some guy dressed up as Spidey holding up a sign, that would make my day. If I was having a shitty day and I saw Spidey on the street saying, be strong, that would be life-changing. And then I heard about this other story, and this was actually not news, or new news, but apparently some guy in, Brazil, a while back, months ago, he dressed up as Spider-Man, and, he was doing, the online thing where, he disguised himself as a female. Some pedophile came up to him, or started chatting with him, and they met, and this guy, beat the crap out of this pedophile, dressed as Spider-Man. And he was arrested for assaulting the guy, but then again, the guy was like, hey, here's all this evidence against this pedophile. So, yeah, people dressing up as superheroes in real life. And in these two cases, they did something to better their freaking community. And I love hearing about that. I look at stories like that, and it makes me smile. I really do. So, yeah, some positive stuff. It's kind of all over the place, but what are you going to do? So, what did I pick up last week? So, first off, I picked up Coffin Bound, #1, and Dark Age, #1. I did a review on both these books in my last video. This one, rough to read. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I don't know if I want to pick up issue #2. Alright? It was too over the place. Like I said in my last video, I like the plot, but I don't know what the plot is. It's so all over the place. But Dark Age #1, y'all, this is a good book. And so when I went to my LCS on Wednesday, because like I said, when I roll up on Wednesday, it's me and another, we have a group of people sitting outside waiting for the doors to open. I went straight to my indie section just because I know some of these books like this will have smaller press runs. They may or may not even carry it. This was the only copy they had up on the wall. And I grabbed it. But it came with a little bit of a sacrifice. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So, some of the other books I got Sea of Stars, #2, which was actually a pretty good read. I really like that book. Check it out. Another Image book. I got Sync, #10, which I love me some Sync. I have not read this yet, but I know it's probably going to be crazy. Let's see. Let's go with DC. DC, How to Go Deceased, #4. All right, the Matina cardstock variant. I love it. But when it comes to Marvel, the big thing was Absolute Carnage. Boom, with the Deodato Jr. variant. For cover price, I should say. Because like I said, I don't do incentive variants or anything like that. But yeah, I love that cover. I look forward to reading that. I still have 2 issues of Venom that I need to read before this, just so I'm not spoiling anything for myself. But yeah, I'm going to try and knock that out the next day or two. But then I also got the Sensational Spider-Man Self-Improvement. Now, I mention this because this is supposed to be the story that was the fan, and I forget his name, and I apologize about that, but apparently there was a fan who came up with the concept of the black suit. He pitched it to Marvel. They paid him to kind of expand his thoughts on it, and then he sold his rights to it. And this was supposed to be a story on his concept. I read the story, and I actually liked it. I actually liked the storyline, but then... So this is where I have mixed emotions. Then they do add this whole storyline right here about the original pitch the guy made, some of the editor notes by Tom DeFalco, which was kind of cool to see some of the editor's remarks in it. But if you read his story pitch and you read the story beforehand, it's like you totally did nothing of his original storyline. besides the way the suit looked. So I was kind of disappointed in this book. Yeah, it was, like I said, I appreciate they were trying to do something with that original storyline. I like the fact that they put the guys' like actual dialogue and the editor notes in it. But you kind of sold this book as this being the one shot that we never had. And we read it and it's like, okay, that's kind of a cool story. And then you put in all the letters and stuff in there. It's like, wait a minute, you totally did not put any of that stuff in there. So yeah, I was a little disappointed by this book. And then they have a little end story in the end of it, which has nothing to do with anything. But yeah. So some books you're not going to see here is for some reason, some way, I forgot to pick up House of X #2. Alright, I know. And it didn't dawn on me until like days later. So tomorrow I will be going up and picking up that book. I think I just picked up so many books and just forgot about it. But another thing is like I said, I went and ran, and the first thing I saw was this book right here. It was the only one on the shelves. Picked it up. I was looking at the indie books, and then I go over to like the Marvel side. Immortal Hulk 22 gone. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, you have like several issues of 21 sitting there. Where's the 22s? And apparently people, the same group of people I hang with, were going and grabbing like 2 or 3 copies of it. Which turned out to burn them because there's not that first appearance they thought there was going to be. But I made a sacrifice. I went for the indie versus my Marvel. But at the same time, I came home and I ordered Incredible Hulk, the Immortal Hulk 22, and also Leave on the Lights, which is another big book that's been hitting on. It's back in stock at Midtown, all right, for cover price. So I went and got both those books. They'll be coming here soon. So it kind of worked out good, where I went, I wasn't able to get my book at my LCS, which I would prefer, but I was still able to go to Midtown and order what I wanted. I also got some other books, and so apparently my local comic shop just bought a new thing, a collection of Spawn. So I got all these Spawn books for $1. So they have I picked up some of the later ones that were like, 100 plus. Some are like in the low 200s. Like this one's 220. Picked up for $1. Alright, I'm excited about that. But what I was most excited about is that there's some big hype around this book right here. Spawn 61. And I got it for $2. Alright? Because apparently this is where they're saying the direction of the new Spawn's going to go after 300 or 301. Alright, is with this, the character, the She-Spawn. But I got that for $2. It's in great condition. It's definitely a 9 point something. Definitely not a 9.8 because I see a few little defects, but it's definitely a 9 point something. And I went ahead and picked up 62 for $2 as well. So yeah, I'm super excited about those picks. You let me know what you thought. So what's coming out this week? And honestly, this kind of felt like the 5th Wednesday of a month, because to me, there was not a lot coming out. That last July, the whole 5th week of the month thing, totally debunked the whole myth that the 5th week is going to be slow. But this week, for me personally, is slow, y'all. So let's go with DC. I know DC Collapser #2 is coming out. To me, meh. I was not impressed with the first one. Want nothing to do with it. They have a Titans Burning Burning Rage #1, and I think they have another book that's coming out that's similar, like the Batman Universe #2 that's coming out. These are actually reprints, so if you're into those storylines and you didn't get I think they were Walmart exclusives, then yeah, pick up those books, but I'm passing on them. The only DC book that's on my mind is that Wonder Woman 76 Jenny Friesen cover. That's a sweet looking cover. Jenny's been nailing out the ballpark with these covers, especially for Wonder Woman. So yeah, that's the only book that I would pick up from DC. And really, it's for cover only. Alright? That's just my opinion. I haven't been reading it. It might be good, it might not be good. But that's a sweet freaking looking cover. Let's go with some indie stuff. And honestly, there's not a lot. Other than Image, which I know is a new debate, is Image indie or not, there's nothing else that I see that I want. Alright, I was not impressed with any of the indie books whatsoever. But hey, if I'm wrong, if there's something I should be reading, put it down in the comment. Let me know. But first, Unearthed #2 is coming out. The first one was decent. It's a Cullen Bunn book. And I'm going to be looking forward to issue #2. Let's see. White Trees #1 is dropping out. This is a Chip Zdarsky book. And I actually would have came in with this pick a little bit more optimistically until I read a preview of the book. I've actually got to read 3-4 pages of the book, and I'm not that excited about it, to be honest with you. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I might pass on White Trees #1. Alright, but the one I am excited about is Reaver #2. I love me some Reaver #1, and I can't wait for #2. So yeah, that's a definite pickup. That's probably one of my top books for the week is Reaver #2, y'all. Alright. Now let's go to Marvel. Marvel's got a lot of stuff going on. We have Absolute Carnage, Scream coming back. The cover C is already sold out on Midtown, but to me that cover is a freaking, I don't know, why would you go with that cover? But to each their own. To me, I'm going with cover A. But yeah, definitely going to be picking that up. Continuing on with the Carnage talk, we have another Absolute Carnage, Separation Anxiety #1 coming out. So if you're really interested in this whole story arc of Carnage and everything else, it might be a book that you want to pick up. Okay? We have Silver Surfer Black #3 coming out. I'm going to pick it up just because I'm digging the story. I'm hating the artwork. I know, I've heard people say, oh, this is the artist. Yeah, F a bunch of that. Artwork sucks in my opinion. But hey, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I'm definitely picking that one up. And there's also a Silver Surfer Prodigal Sons #1. That's also one I'm going to be passing on. Alright, I'm not digging this whole Prodigal Son type thing they're trying to do. But hey, it's a #1. It may be a character of interest down the line, so you might want to pick it up. But my two top Marvel books, I'm going to say one is Captain Marvel #9. Now, #8 was sold out. #9 is already sold out because I think #9 is the first cover appearance, at least the cover A, of Star. Alright, Star's new character just came out. People are excited about. So that's one you might want to be picking up. My second one goes out to Power of X #2. And I'm going to go with cover B, the Putri connecting cover. Those connecting covers for the first set of House of X and Power of X are already going for well over cover price. So maybe the connecting covers are the way you want to go with this. It's the same original cover price, so why not? But yeah, those are my two top Marvel picks. Power of X or Power of 10. I mean, God, like really, is it Power of 10 or Power of X? All right. I don't know. Like, I don't like that whole thing. But the Power of 10 to me was not as compelling as the House of X. But I get where they're going. Hopefully Hickman's not plagiarizing the shit out of everything, because that might not look good for him in the future, but who knows. So with that said, that's pretty much all I have to say. I guess the only thing, the one avoid pick that I want to put on this week, and it pains me to do so, is Punisher. So I am not going to be picking up Punisher Kill Crew #1. And especially if you look at that cover A, that Tony Moore cover, like that's such a ridiculous cover. And they're still trying to do this whole War of Realms thing, which, come on now, like, I had no interest whatsoever in this whole War of Realms arc that they were doing. It wasn't enjoyable for me. And I wish they would let it die. Just let it die. Alright? But yeah, that's one book that it pains me because I love me some Punisher. I love me some Punisher, and to look at a book and say like, no, like I do not want that whatsoever. Like that's why I had to put that one on my avoid list for this week. But anyway, with that being said, I want to do, since it is my birthday, glad y'all were able to join. I have to take it to the other side and say that I want to give a little bit of respect for Ernie Colon. Ernie Colon was a very highly respected comic book artist who just passed away this past week at the age of 88. He did a lot of stuff. He did a lot of stuff with Golden Key, like Casper. He did some Battlestar Galactica, Weird War Tales, which Weird War Tales are some pretty good reads if you're into that genre. But anyway, he passed away this week, and we all hope and aspire to live to an age like that, but we also hope and aspire to leave on a legacy as Ernie did. Like, he put stuff out that people are going to look at and remember not only for years to come, but maybe decades and maybe even centuries to come. Like, he left behind a legacy. And what more can you ask for in your lifetime? Right? So with that being said, all my thoughts and prayers are out to the Colon family. He was a great man, he did great work, and he left something behind. So, but with that being said, I want to thank all of you for joining me on my birthday. I know we might have been a little bit all over the place, but that's how it happens. So with that being said, this is Drewski, the Comic Assassin, and thank you so much for watching. And when it comes to this week, happy hunting.